Western art history, rational and clear neoclassicism. 3. Napoleon and the rise of official neoclassicism in France. Although French classicism began under Louis XIII and flourished with Louis XIV, it was under Napoleon Bonaparte that Paris truly became the beating heart of global art. As early as 1640, King Louis XIII had summoned Nicolas Poussin back to France after 16 years studying in Rome, the Renaissance capital of Europe. Although Poussin's return lasted only 2 years, it marked a turning point. Classical ideals began to take firm root in Paris, encouraged later by Louis XIV. Artists such as Charles Le Brun helped solidify the French classical style. However, it was in the early 19th century, under the rule of Napoleon, that neoclassicism gained its most powerful patron. Fascinated by the grandeur of Roman antiquity, Napoleon fostered an artistic culture rooted in nobility, symmetry, and imperial glory. He actively supported scholarly research, large-scale art collection, and architectural transformation. In 1803, Napoleon established the Louvre, opening the royal collections to the public and symbolically transforming the palace into the spiritual center of a new European empire. As French troops swept across Europe, they brought home masterpieces from the Netherlands, Italy, and Germany, enriching the Louvre's holdings from 1796 to 1807. After the Egyptian expedition, over 100 scholars and artists conducted archaeological work, laying the foundation for modern Egyptology and expanding the Louvre's collection of antiquities. Napoleon appointed Jacques-Louis David as official court painter and allocated 100,000 francs annually to acquire art. He expanded the Louvre's architecture, adding wings dedicated to Greek, Roman, and Egyptian antiquities. Yet following Napoleon's second abdication in 1815, more than 5,000 artworks were returned to their countries of origin, leaving only about 100 in the museum's collection. The Louvre itself, originally a 12th century fortress, had undergone numerous expansions from a Renaissance palace under Francis I to a grand Baroque complex under Louis XIV. Architects Claude Perrault and Louis Lavore designed Eastern Facade, while during Napoleon's time. During the Napoleonic era, Charles Percier and Pierre-François Léonard were tasked with extending the structure along Rue de Rivoli, boulevard renowned as one of Paris's most fashionable commercial streets. The street itself was named in 1797 to commemorate Napoleon's victory over the Austro-Hungarian forces at the Battle of Rivoli. With the addition of the North Wing's pavilion, the Louvre was shaped into a classical palace characterized by architectural symmetry and elegant gardens. To commemorate his military triumphs, Napoleon commissioned the Arc de Triomphe du Carrousel. Echoing ancient Roman triumphal arches, it marked the entrance to the Tuileries Palace and was topped with the famous bronze horses of St. Mark's Basilica. Looted from Venice in 1797, these horses, originally from the time of Alexander the Great, had journeyed from Rome to Constantinople to Venice, and briefly, under Napoleon, to Paris. After his abdication, they were returned to Venice and replaced by Pozio's quadriga, now symbolizing France atop the arch. Inside the Louvre, the Apollo Gallery showcases royal treasures such as the crowns of Louis XV and Napoleon, while portraits of legendary rulers Philip II, Augustus, Francis I, Henry IV, and Louis XIV adorn the walls. The gallery also honors 10 architects, 7 sculptors, and 7 painters, including Poussin, underlining France's deep reverence for artistic legacy. Napoleon's city planning also followed classical ideals. He oversaw monumental projects like the Arc de Triomphe de la Toile, the Église de la Madeleine, and renovation of the banks of the Seine with plazas, fountains, and tree-lined boulevards. The Avenue des Champs, extending from the Place de la Concorde to the Arc de Triomphe, forms a direct axis connecting the Tuileries Gardens and the Louvre. This bold, symmetrical design reflects Napoleon's vision of Paris as the most beautiful city in the world, a dream he openly declared. The Arc de Triomphe de l'Étoile, commissioned in 1806 after Napoleon's victory at Austerlitz, was designed by Jean Chalgrin and completed in 1836. It stands 49.5 meters Tall and 44.8 meters wide, carved into its surfaces are, for reliefs depicting conscription, victory, peace, and resistance, names of 386 generals, and 96 victories from 1792 to 1815. Visitors can climb 273 steps to a platform offering a panoramic view of Paris and exhibitions on France's military and artistic heritage. To this day, Parisians maintain a tradition during major festivals. A warrior dressed in Napoleonic armor and holding a sword stands guard by the Statue of Departure, symbolizing national pride and inspiring the French to uphold the ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity. The presence of classical art across Paris, from grand palaces like the Louvre and Versailles to the city's streets, creates an environment that gently nurtures public appreciation for the arts. Napoleon's contributions to architectural development and institutional systems not only supported the flourishing of Neoclassicism, but also reinforced France's leadership in Western art. Artistic characteristics of Neoclassicism. While the Renaissance saw a revived appreciation for antiquity, the mid-18th century archaeological discoveries deepened Europe's fascination with Greco-Roman ideals. Neoclassicism sought not only to imitate, but also to spiritually reconnect with the clarity and dignity of ancient art. Rooted in Renaissance drawing techniques, neoclassical painting emphasized discipline, order, and rationality. Compositions were calm, balanced, and detailed. Themes were drawn from mythology, historical narratives, and moral allegories. These works aimed to depict virtuous behavior and evoke noble emotional responses through stories of heroism, sacrifice, and civic duty. Rather than copying antiquity outright, Neoclassicists strove to internalize its core aesthetic principles: simplicity, harmony, and integrity. Artists employed rigorous academic training, meticulous archaeology, and life drawing. From drapery folds and physical gestures to architectural backdrops and lighting, every detail was crafted to convey solemn beauty and timeless virtue.